A child once saw God in a mango tree, and it changed the course of history. Have you ever wondered how a child could see God in everything? How a young boy could feel the presence of the divine in every stone, tree, and whisper of wind? This is the story of Paramhansa Yogananda, whose early years were unlike anything most people could imagine. It is a story that goes beyond a mere biography. It is a journey into the heart of spirituality itself, a glimpse into the awakening of a soul destined to touch millions. Yogananda was born in Gorakhpur, India, in 1893, to a family that was deeply spiritual, yet living in ordinary human struggles. From the very beginning, it was clear that this boy was different. Unlike most children who are focused on toys or games, Yogananda's eyes were drawn to the unseen. Even as a toddler, he experienced visions, felt divine presence, and asked questions that baffled adults. Why do people suffer? Why do we exist? Who am I? These questions were not ordinary curiosity. They were the sparks of a profound awakening. As a child, Yogananda sought guidance from saints, yogis, and mystics who lived quietly in the forests and mountains. Imagine a young boy barely able to understand the complexities of the world, walking barefoot to meet a sage just to learn how to feel God within. These experiences were not play. They were his training ground for the extraordinary life he was destined to live. From the whispers of the wind to the sacred rivers of India, every element of nature spoke to him, shaping his understanding of life, consciousness, and the divine. But his journey was not without challenges. Society, family, and even well-meaning teachers often could not understand the depth of his experiences. When he saw divine light or felt an energy that others could not, they labeled it imagination or illusion. And yet, Yogananda's trust in the divine was unwavering. This is a crucial lesson for anyone on the spiritual path. True seekers will often feel isolated, misunderstood, or even doubted by those around them. The key is not to seek approval, but to remain anchored in the inner experience of the soul. By the age of 8, Yogananda had experienced mystical visions that most people will never understand in a lifetime. He felt the presence of saints who were no longer in the physical world, and he experienced moments of cosmic ecstasy that left him weeping in awe. One story tells of him standing under a tree, absorbed in meditation, and suddenly merging in consciousness with the divine, feeling that he and God were one. These were not mere stories. They were signs of a soul in alignment with higher truths, a soul learning the mechanics of the spiritual universe at a young age. Yogananda's family played an essential role, though not always intentionally. His parents provided an environment that valued education, moral integrity, and devotion, yet they could not fully comprehend his experiences. And perhaps that was necessary. Spiritual awakening often requires a tension between worldly life and the inner call. It is in this tension that discipline, focus, and surrender are born. Yogananda learned the delicate balance of fulfilling worldly responsibilities while nurturing his inner life, balance that every serious seeker must understand. At the age of 16, he encountered his guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar. This meeting was transformative. Imagine a young man, full of questions and divine longing, standing before a teacher who had mastered the very essence of existence. Sri Yukteswar did not give him easy answers. Instead, he guided him through discipline, meditation, and subtle teachings that could only be understood through direct experience. This is the essence of true spiritual teaching, not to tell, but to awaken. A teacher points the way, but the student must walk it, often through trial, challenge, and inner struggle. Yogananda's life also teaches us about the integration of spirituality and the world. He was not a recluse hiding from life. From a young age, he understood that true enlightenment is not separate from the world, but is expressed in the way we live, act, and serve others. He learned early that to awaken fully, one must experience love, pain, joy, and loss. These were not distractions, but essential elements of the spiritual laboratory in which his soul evolved. Even his mystical experiences were practical. When he meditated, he could influence energy, feel the pulse of the universe, and experience states beyond time and space. Yet he remained humble, compassionate, and deeply human. He did not seek fame, power, or followers. His only desire was to help others realize their own divine potential. And this is the secret of true masters. They live in a state of awareness, yet their actions ripple into the lives of millions, often without force, without expectation, just through the sheer radiance of their consciousness. As we reflect on Yogananda's early life, there is a lesson for every seeker. Spirituality is not about escaping life or seeking comfort. It is about daring to see the invisible, to trust what cannot be measured, and to walk a path that few are willing to tread. It requires courage, dedication, and surrender, and it begins with the child within each of us, the child willing to wonder, to question, and to feel the presence of the divine in every moment. In the next videos, we will explore Yogananda's adolescence, his rigorous training in Kriya Yoga, and the experiences that shaped him into a global spiritual teacher. You will learn the principles that guided his life, the practices he followed, and the hidden wisdom that he carried from master to disciple. Each video will give you insights, not just into history, but into the practical mechanics of awakening your own consciousness. Remember, the story of Yogananda is not just about one man. It is about the potential within all of us. It is a call to awaken, to rise above the ordinary, and to experience life with clarity, energy, and divine awareness. The child who once saw God in a mango tree now touches the hearts of millions, teaching a timeless truth. The divine is not somewhere far away. It is within you, waiting to be realized.